We will be live in exactly 1 minute. Alright, we're doing this. Welcome to the show, everybody. Share it, let everybody know, jump in the comments. If you're from the New York area, it is snowing like hell outside. If you're from the Northeast, it is snowing like hell outside. So, welcome to the show. This is better than your average daytime TV or afternoon TV or any news program, if you ask me, because it's real and we the people are the news. So, I am wearing my 2000 opening night shirt from the New York Rangers. I still have it. It's true. Here we go, everybody in attendance, eventually and currently. We're going to start with the pressing topic that's still on everyone's head, and that is stocks. We're back. It's a new week of stocks, everybody. So I told you last week, and there's been more developments on it, on the Robinhood situation. Google did, in fact, help Robinhood after negative reviews dropped the company to a 1-star rating on the App Store. Now, this is big because big tech is jumping in the bed with a situation that, of course, is going to be looked at some point by the government, one would assume, and all regulating bodies. So here we go. Google is helping clean up negative reviews on trading app Robinhood on Google Play after the platform came under fire for restricting some trading. So right there, the tech giant has deleted nearly 100,000 negative reviews for the app, and the screenshots first shared by tech news website 9to5 Google. Wow. Really quickly shows how big tech can manipulate literally anything that's going on in our lives. Whether it would be from election to the stock market and even more. Here we are, and this is happening right in front of our eyes. And we don't know which way it's going to go. Again, I have some ideas of which way it's going to go, but I could be completely wrong. The stock market is a legal casino. Hence why I bought DraftKings, because it shows everybody wants some action at some point. And that's why casinos do well when there's no traveling restrictions. There's a thing that has occurred throughout civilization, throughout the world of people like to gamble, and the stock market is the legalized form that's done, and we're seeing little gaps opening in new ways we never saw before, such as these stonks, if you will. The saga rages on, and this was in Times Square. They had a digital billboard purchase that shows GameStop go burr, which I've found out today is what the kids say for going up, printing money or something. The sound it is to print money. I don't know. But it go burr. Oh, krrr. So here we are. And now you know that this movement is far from done. Again, where is the movement headed? It could go either way. My assumption is still people are getting their brokerage accounts open on other brokerages that don't do what Robinhood's doing, that let them have the risk of losing their money. Now, we go into it. Defiant Redditors buy Times Square billboard at GameStop Stock Saga as GameStop Saga rages. So this is not one incident. This happened in other cities. There was a plane that was allegedly flying a banner that said, go buy GameStop or something along those lines. Again, Elon Musk tweeted, Dave Portnoy, El Presidente is big on it. I don't think it's the last of it. I really, truly don't. I think it's going to go back up. I think it's going to fluctuate a little, and then it's going to start really going up by the end of the week. That's my belief. If it all goes to crap, it all goes to crap. But here we go. This was brought to me today. This is actually a picture of somebody's phone. This was on Robinhood today, and it's the usual. You have options contracts that you already hold. These limits may be subject to change throughout the day, and it says which stock that they're letting you trade and how many trades. So if you would like to, you can buy 10 shares of AMC, and then there's options, which I don't even understand options. So there's much more in the stock market to learn from. But you have BlackBerry, they'll let you get 700 shares, Express 20, GameStop 1 share. There's just a bunch. And again, this whole movement, again, you don't even need to know the stocks. You need to know that this is the hot stock. It's like knowing the cool kid at school, that he's going to or she's going to make the next trend. Don't matter what they do, it's going to be hit. It's going to be fetch. That's all you really need to know, essentially. So what I did was, I used Robinhood's warning, essentially, on how many shares they'll let you trade as a symbol for all the stocks that are currently volatile due to the Reddit thread and the stonk movement, if you will. And I went and threw some orders in. So I didn't get a ton of these. But you don't need a ton, because if they go to 300 at any point while all of this is ongoing, you make some serious cash. So, I bought a couple across the board. Thanks for the tip, Robinhood. You really came to save the day. So this is what I had go off today, and it was not a big day in general for the stock market, for these, not for the stock market, for these specific stocks, whether it was a little loss or kind of a float, stayed around the same. Again, I think that moment in time is going to change. I think it's going to change as the people come on. Could go totally wrong, but as always, whatever you put in the stock market, you have to be willing to see it go away. If it goes away, well, it goes away, it sucks, but again, it's the same thing at the craps table, at the roulette table. Sometimes these things do not work out in your benefit.
We're learning here.
Before I play this clip, I thought it was very interesting. We'll have Dave Portnoy's take. This is from Stool Presidente, Dave Portnoy's Instagram. Enjoy. Oh, that would not be the right
We're learning here. Maybe it's fun, fine, maybe it's a movement, but be prepared to lose 80 to 90% of it, and if it's still worth it, then have at it. But the biggest loss of capital here will be the human capital of young men who are sitting and staring at their phone and watching the price of Bitcoin or the price of AMC. And ask yourself, would you be better off taking that 1, 2, or 3 hours a day and working out, trying to form relationships with mentors, with romantic relationships, with people at work, getting great at something so you can be the person on the other side of the trade? The greatest loss in capital here is from young men who are more prone to gambling addiction, who don't understand the markets. I think we are setting ourselves up similar to how there's a ton of young women out there who became very depressed by sitting in their rooms looking at Instagram. Self-cutting and self-harm skyrocket. I think you are going to see an explosion in young male depression, and I think a lot of it is going to be reverse engineered to apps that convince you you're part of a movement or physically addict you to your phone. Ask yourself, would your time staring at Robinhood be better spent somewhere else? That is the real capital destruction that is taking place here.
This guy, one of the all-time suit losers, fucking crybabies I've ever seen. Who is that guy? Did you hear what he said? Did you actually hear what he said? Maybe if you become great at trading, you can be the other guy on the phone. What he meant by that is you can be the scam artist, scumbag, fucking thief. That's what he meant. He can be the guy who steals your money like they've been doing on the crooks have been doing on Wall Street for fucking 100 years, which I, DDGG Global, called out and started in March. That this is a sham, a rigged game. It's a big casino. I've been saying it. And this suit is just crying out. What are you talking about? Your time would have been great spent on Robinhood till Vlad. They got to Vlad. They got to him. Vlad's a puppet. Vlad's like Goodell. He just answers for the bigwigs behind scenes. Come on now.
So what you just saw there was extremely bizarre. So they have someone on TV saying that this movement is going to be a bunch of men who are prone to gambling, losing 80 to 90% of their money, and this is going to ruin their lives. This is going to ruin that the fact that they thought they were part of a movement and now it didn't work out and they wasted 3 hours looking at their phone. I'm sorry. If this man is involved with the stock market, just because he does it for a living does not mean he is doing it the only way it can be done to make money. And clearly right now is a volatile time, but there's a lot of people making a lot of money. And all of a sudden, we're at the point where you're like, now you're going to say it's causing a sickness and it's going to ruin everyone's life the way Instagram has ruined women's lives and made them cut themselves. I don't even know where he went with it, but it came off as somebody that was extremely, extremely sour to the movement. It didn't work for him. And I find it to be bizarre. Honestly, that's where I'm going to go with this. The whole thing was bizarre, and a lot of people that are in the market are very, very sour and salty right now to the whole entire thing because it's not working out for them. So it's the case that we keep running into in humanity. Everyone thinks they know better than the other, and if you do something against them, you're condemned and you're the worst. But you see, we don't need a guy in a suit on MSNBC telling us exactly how to do our investing. If it's legal what we're doing and we're investing into these stocks that are somehow getting a hot hand, that's life in the big leagues. And again, the market manipulation's coming out of Robinhood and how they're linked up with the big hedge funds. So if anything, the sour side seems like somebody that is unwilling to hold the ability to say, you beat us this time. We lost, or we did something wrong on our end. Nobody's taking any accepting any of what's going on, and they're putting it on the people that are investing in the stocks and saying that they're uneducated. This is the most ridiculous thing in the world. And again, I still forecast like a bull that by the end of the week, this is going to go up. This is not the end, because if we've learned anything from the internet, and when you have people like Elon Musk talking about it and Dave Portnoy, it becomes, we're just going to do it. Because right now, the way the world is, no one's like, oh, you know what? I won't invest because I don't have time to look at this. I'm busy going to my job and meeting people and going to restaurants, going to the bar, going to hang out. We live in the COVID time. Right now, people are sitting home like, yo, there's this big movement going on. We're screwing people and making a ton of bank. I'm jumping into the market. And then you found out that the market and the banks turned on you. The same app that you decided to start using for the purpose, you've used it because it was for the common man. Now you've really, really made people angry. So the movement, I believe, is going to only gain strength. But let's continue. Here we go. So Janet Yellen received $810,000 in speaking fees from hedge fund embroiled in GameStop Saga, which I discussed. I never had the clip up in time for you last week, but Secretary of Treasury, I believe, is her position, if I'm not mistaken. Once you see where the money goes, I always say follow the breadcrumbs. there's going to be special treatment, one would assume, because of special interest. If you got that much money, you know some people there, and it changes the way things play out. And how does it usually play out? It plays out against the common man. It plays out against the people that are in the market and doing their thing. It doesn't usually work out well. It doesn't for us. It's usually somewhat rigged to benefit the high-end people, as they say, the 1%, where people have always go, oh, the 1% should be paying the tax. No, the system in certain ways is completely rigged because we don't get that chance. Once there was this movement and this started happening, it was, we can't let this happen. Let's tank the stock because it's affecting people. But when you have people that are in bed with them, it becomes problematic. The way they always said, Trump's only looking out for Trump's friends. Well, maybe it goes the opposite way. And we're seeing where the money leads now. So we move on. Wait, was I just talking about the Trumpster? There used to be this guy on Twitter who tried to warn us the system was rigged. And it is. Surprise! This was a correct statement all along, as we see. The system is, in fact, rigged, but the fight goes on to fix that. The fight goes on to keep the movement going, and if it's successful, only time will tell. But we have some interesting things. So, Donald Trump Jr. tweeted, as per the forwarding good work of DC Drano, any Republican in Washington, D.C. worth a damn should be calling for an immediate investigation into Robinhood and Citadel. And while they're at it, subpoena Janet Yellen and let's find out if there was pressure from the Biden administration to protect their cronies on Wall Street. And then somebody, of course, said, what if Trump and his family are actually the good guys and we were duped into turning on him? This plot twist is so confusing. But this has been ongoing all the time. The people that are supposed to be for the people and Donald Trump was for the rich people. All these people are rich as hell and have horrible ties. Again, Biden has ties to money coming from China, the Ukraine, from Russia, funneled through the sun. We could go on forever with where that's going, and how many people will get the opportunity to see where it went is a good question. Do you remember there was this guy named Durham that was supposed to have a whole investigation? I bet we never hear anything about that investigation. I think that investigation is DOA. Dead on arrival, if you ask me. But here we are. And there's Donald Trump Jr. saying, if you're a Republican and you're not asking for this, we don't think you're worth a damn. And that's huge and damning to that person if they ever want to rerun again. Because we all know that the Trump name does carry some weight. But they're there asking for this investigation. Will there be an investigation? I don't know. But maybe we'll circle back to that. I hear a cat. I think the cat's coming. The cat is on the way. She's going to make her cameo. So, here we go. I am happy. Oh, geez. The whole table almost fell on the floor. I am happy to work with Republicans on this issue. So AOC, this is still on the stonks here. AOC had tweeted about how it needs to be looked into. Ted Cruz, who's worked with AOC on things before in a bipartisan manner, said fully agree with the little hand pointing down, a little arrow pointing down. So it says, I'm happy to work with Republicans on this issue where there's common ground, but you almost had me murdered 3 weeks ago. So if you can sit this one out. Oh, so you can sit this one out. Happy to work with almost any of the GOP that aren't trying to get me killed. In the meantime, if you want to help, you can resign. I know, I needed to take a breath for this one. AOC, I think you should resign because you told people that were involved with protests that were not peaceful just because you felt that they were peaceful, because that's how you felt. How to cover up tattoos and marking issues so they didn't get caught by law after they looted and burnt buildings down and killed people. People of all colors and races and walks of life. This was what you asked them to do. It was on your Instagram. So I'm happy to work with any Democrat that has the common sense of understanding what violence is. So in the meantime, sit this one out, AOC, and kindly resign, because you're dangerous and you're very dangerous to everybody that, believes in peaceful protesting and actually making a change. You're kind of a radical I know those words don't really resonate with you because you feel a certain way, but I feel this way. And by definition, I can prove it because you've posted things that make it very simple to prove. So, yeah, resign for everyone's sake. Having said that, as you can see, even the poster child for the socialists and the new age radicals of the liberal agenda pushing party, their savior, AOC, is on board, as I've said. And then you have people from the very conservative side, like Ted Cruz, who agrees this is a bipartisan issue. And where I said this can bring people together, of course, AOC has to go in and claim Ted Cruz tried to get her killed. But again, nothing she's done in the past year, spiking racial tensions and trying to say things were peaceful when they weren't. None of that counts because why would it? Why in God's green earth would it? So, AOC, I know you're not going to resign. Ted Cruz, he's not going to resign. You know it. This is just for more politics, more political gain. Again, also, I think Rand Paul should call for AOC's resignation as well because he was surrounded and his life was in jeopardy after he left the Republican... I can't think of the word. At the Republican National Convention where Trump accepted the nomination, the RNC. So when he left, he was surrounded and other politicians were surrounded, and all the Democrats asked for this. And we've shown that. We've put that out there many a times on this program. So people like AOC were responsible for them nearly dying. So it's tough, right? It's tough when the shoe is on your foot. But I don't know. It's like you don't even have feet at this point. But here we go. Speaking of all of that, the damage and everything that went on throughout these months, Black Lives Matter movement is nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. Let's go a little bit further. That's right. After $1 billion in property damage and 1,000 officer injuries and over 20 deaths, the Marxist Black Lives Matter movement is nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. And there's the car shop, I believe that was in Kenosha, if I'm not mistaken. Was that... I think that was a car shop, but whatever. I think it was in Kenosha because that picture's pretty famous. And it says Black Lives Matter. It was put up on the big billboard in front of the building, and you see the fires raging behind it. It seems very, very peaceful, so it definitely needs a Nobel Peace Prize. It's bizarre. We live in bizarre land. I almost feel like in this Twilight Zone, we can put up a picture of the QAnon shaman with the bullhorns and say he was nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize, and it would be just as strange for all of us that have common sense still floating around in our brains. I digress. Or do I? Do I digress? Here we go. This is Jack Brewer. It says this is not about Nobel Peace Prize. It's more about liberalism. The only way that you qualify to be nominated for this award is if you support liberal principles, and that's sad. Of course, somebody out there would say this statement is ridiculous, and this man suffers from multicultural whiteness and white supremacy. Because again, that's how you feel because it doesn't fit what you feel. And again, that's white people that are saying that. But I have newsflash. Newsflash from Nicole Arbor. This is her notes. To you, being offended doesn't mean you're right. In many cases, you might feel a certain way, and that's your opinion. And you can stick to your opinion. No one's saying you can't because it's a free country. The only people that are saying you can't are the people that cancel you for having it. The conservatives don't do that. However, being offended, again, is correct here. Doesn't mean you're right. A matter of fact, if you break it down, as a white person that's fighting to listen to black voices, that man is a black man. That is his voice. That is his statement. And you're going to call him names and say he suffers from multicultural white supremacy. It doesn't make sense, and being offended doesn't mean you're right. So, get your shite together. And, wait, I want to make sure I didn't leave it. Hold on. Nope, I didn't. Okay, and this was a little meme that goes a long way. Here is Leonardo walking with Master Splinter as a child, and it says millennials and GameStop, and now it's Leonardo walking Master Splinter as GameStop older, as we the people are making a movement to save GameStop while also kind of setting the market in a new path. It's a new regime out there, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, moving right along. We have the Cuomo section. So I was talking about this last week, but this is developing and it's not looking good at all. The Cuomo administration undercounted COVID-19 deaths in nursing homes by 50%, New York Attorney General says. All right? And there is the quote that set me on fire. You can look up the press conference. I can't bear hear his voice. But the question was asked if the numbers were covered up, basically. And he said, whether a person died in a nursing home or a hospital, who cares? They died. That was Lord Cuomo speaking about this. And I've asked people about it in general, and some people just seem not to think it's a big deal. But if we can't hold people to the reality of corruption and the real numbers at hand, what exactly do we do as a country? Certain people get held to certain standards. Other people can do whatever they want because they're from a party you like, or they talked good on TV, so you felt like you got to know him over the past couple of months that he locked you in your house like a bad child who can't make a decision for themselves. I don't know where this is going, but this quote right here, I want everybody to put their thinking caps on. Okay? Go back in time. The month is October. And they say, President Trump, there's 250,000 people or 300,000 people that died of COVID on your watch. Some of them could not get into the hospital. Some are at home. What do you think? Do you think more people should have been at the hospital? And he went, listen, fake news, people. Whether a person died at their home or anywhere else, in the hospital, in the nursing home, who cares? They died. They're just a number now. It's not really a big deal. There would have been mutiny. And if you don't think there would be mutiny, you're crazy. It's crazy town. It's just like I've said in the past. If Donald Trump Jr. was taking money from the Ukraine, there would be mutiny. If it was 10% held for the big guy and it was believed to be Donald Trump himself, there would be mutiny. There was mutiny if the guy played golf after signing peace deals in the Middle East. Because why not? This is the world we live in. And right here, Cuomo took a specific, usual sociopathic route, and he went the who cares, they died route. Like, he's still above it, and he's not too concerned about it, so he can project that on you. He's the Emmy-winning governor, so you can feel a certain way because he feels a certain way. It's kind of ringleading the people. If you feel like it's not a big deal, say you got caught. Perfect example. I got caught underage drinking when I was 17. And I needed to explain to my parents, like, hey, I have to go and fill my duty and go report to court for this summons, right? I didn't tell my father. I played it politically. It was smart. I told my mom. Okay? And my mom was like, are you serious? You got caught for underage drinking? And I said, really, it's not a big deal. I'm going to go pay the summons off. It was a mistake. Life goes on. And I played it off nonchalant. And again, I had a lenient punishment from it because of the way I directed the narrative going in. If I was like, I know I did really wrong, I can't believe I'm going to tell you, it would have empowered him more to be like, you know what, I really should strike down even harder. There's a serious effect by the way you present things. But the way Cuomo does it, it comes off to the people that are really paying attention, it comes off really, really horrible. This was horrible. It's the same way Hillary Clinton went, what does it matter? 4 Americans are dead. Like, basically with Benghazi, it was just, it's over. What does it even matter if I had any if I was basically derelict in my duties and let it get to that? But that's not an acceptable choice. This, in the real world and politics that affect the entire country or affect people's lives or affect the whole entire state of New York, affect people's loved ones that were in nursing homes. And if they could have helped the entire series of events with infection spreading. It's a very, very contagious disease. We know that. He tells us every friggin' day. So why would you put people back in nursing homes? I don't know. Why would the Javits Center pretty much be empty? Don't know. And the Navy ship? Couldn't tell you. It makes zero sense. And you talk about wearing the masks all the time, and you talk about when the ship got there, people were all watching the ship arrive, the Navy hospital, and everyone was like, look at these idiots, they're all next to each other. Well, the whole thing could have been handled better from the top, and none of it makes sense. But they all blame all these deaths on Trump, and I believe they're going to still blame all the new ones on Trump because Biden said that all the plans were not up to par, even though Fauci said they were, and they basically threw Fauci under the bus and called him a holdover from the Trump administration. So none of this makes sense. We're always being sold something, and I wish people would wake up and call bullshit on both sides.
That was easy.
Because it is pretty easy once you open your eyes. It's right there for you. So this is not going to be a long episode, I didn't tell you, but we're going to circle back to when I said we were going to circle back, and we're going to figure something out. And that's, we're going to watch the new press secretary for Joe Biden never know how to answer the question. So much so that it became a meme right there. I'll circle back on that. Are you ready? Because this one's a screamer. I'll be right back. Here we go. Here we go.
I'll circle back if there's more I can share with you. I'll circle back with you if there's more to convey. I'll have to just circle back with you. We can circle back. I'm happy to circle back with you. I can circle back. I will have to circle back on that one. That's an excellent question. Oh, such an important question. We will circle back with you, and we'll circle back with you. It's an interesting question, but we'll circle back. I'm happy to circle back, but I'll have to circle back with you on it. It's a good question, but we'll circle back with you on this today. We will certainly circle back with you more directly.
Jen needs some help. Maybe she can hire Kaylee to help her. Do you imagine you have to follow Kaylee as press secretary, where anyone came up with some sort of question, you always had an answer, and then if somebody really tried to zing you, she would incinerate you and then just leave you in a pile of ashes and do the mic drop walk off? It's got to be a hard act to follow. But to come up always so unprepared and right off the bat always be like, we have to circle back, we'll look for an answer, we'll circle back, and not have an answer. And again, the press in the past already has had issues with getting Biden to even speak. It's a different world. And Trump can't really give us any nuggets of information because A, he's holding himself out of the spotlight right now, and B, everyone tried to censor him and make him not exist. It's bizarre. We live in bizarre times. But people are okay with not having the answers, and people are okay with fraudulent activity on the numbers in old age homes. But they'll lose their minds over little things like, again, when Trump golfed. So you have to know where your priorities are. Is it based on irrational hate and lack of problem solving, or is there more to it? I don't have the answer, but I find things very bizarre. Cuomo does need to be held accountable for this, and it needs to be looked at, just like you looked at everything on Trump. Or otherwise, what the hell are we doing? What is going on? And is any of this whole entire government thing real? Having said that, guys, we're going to finish this episode with my picks. So here's the Mac Life, which is Conor McGregor's UFC or MMA blog, if you will. And it says, which of these title fights are you looking most forward to? Are you most looking forward to? Okay, so we have Usman versus Burns, Jan versus Sterling, Nunes versus Anderson, Blachowicz versus Adesanya. I'll never say Blachowicz. I can never get his name right. Blachowicz. Volkanovski versus Ortega, and Miocic versus Ngannou 2. So, I'm going to give you, for those who use DraftKings, if you will, how to parlay these cards if they're all available. And they might be, because these are all in short order through March. And this is my parlay for you. I would say parlay every one of these championship fights. Okay? And I'm going to say Karamu Usman wins. I'm going to go with Sterling winning and taking the belt from Jan. I believe in him. He's got some hype. He looked great in his last fight. So I think he could do it. And then we have Amanda Nunes versus Anderson. Let's be honest. Nunes is going to destroy. So you pick Nunes. So this will be a 6-fight parlay. Don't make the mistake of not doing it this way. Adesanya will beat Jan. He's going to do it. He's going to live up to that hype. It's just, he's a superstar. He's not going to get knocked out. He won't let the hit happen. I think he's going to school him, and it's going to be pretty amazing to watch him become a champ. I don't think he's going to fail in the quest. I just don't see it. I think Ortega is going to beat Volkanovski. I think Volkanovski didn't even beat Max Holloway, and we saw what Holloway did to Ortega. But styles make fights and differences. I think Ortega looked great in his last fight, and I think he's going to win. I think he's going to probably submit him, catch him in something like a guillotine. And now for the final fight. This is the big one. Miocic versus Ngannou 2. I don't think Francis Ngannou loses this fight. Miocic is the best heavyweight of all time, but I think Ngannou's at the right spot in the career. He lost to Miocic once. He will not get taken down the way he did the first time. I just don't think he will. I think he'll have a different game plan. That's my belief. And I think he catches him, clips him, TKOs him, or KOs him. Probably within the first round. That's my belief. Those are my 6-fight championship parlay. Don't know what it pays out. I will look to see if it exists so I could get it prepped for when I cross the outer bridge. But this is the key to the castle. This is my picks. Let me know if it works out for you. Everybody, we the people are the news. Go enjoy the snow. I'm going to make myself some food, and I'm going to lay on the couch now because I've had a long day. See you tomorrow at 6. Pass it on. Again, follow us everywhere at We the People Are the News. I will see you people tomorrow. Stay safe. Shovel slowly. No heart attacks. See you guys later. Peace out.